Here we go. Hi, Renee.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it's a more welcome. Thank you for allowing us to come on to your YouTube channel. We're simulcasting on both tonight. Thanks for having us, the Fiat Ministry Network.
yeah, anytime.
Oh, I guess the question I was kind of talking with you about prior to the show is just you know the waiting of Advent and what do we do. But if you want to, give out any, say hi to everybody. I do have the chat up, but um, hopefully everybody can see us and hear us. But I just thank you for having us on your YouTube channel. I really appreciate that tonight.
Hey, you're welcome. It's always a ton of fun. I loved the last time we had an interview, and so I definitely wanted to come back again.
Yeah, it's a one of those things that you do the show and live. What you're doing on your now is just amazing. The people are just what a great community. If you want to just talk about them, I'll bring up some chat right now. But here,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, they're all like, so many of them are my friends at this point. No, haven't met them in person, but they're just so familiar to me now because they share such genuine personal parts of their story and their life over the screen. And I feel like I'm blessed and gifted to be able to participate in their life in that way and to read part of their story like that. And it does create a bit of a friendship, even just through the internet. And we all look forward to that hope that we'll see each other in heaven someday, or maybe at some big youth conference, or Seek 2019, or whatever, or some chance passing in this life. But there's that confidence that in getting to know them here, I can get to know them more later on, maybe in heaven someday, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to have that community. Um, I guess the question would be is what do you do? I can give out a little bit of my insight, but for Advent, I mean, is that something just a comments or some ideas of what we can do or what you do during this time? I know for me, when I was a young adult, we did a lot of retreats at this time. It was a lot of and a lot of silence, but um, as a father, as a husband, it's a completely different thing. But go ahead if you want to share. It's your, I'll let you, it's your show.
Think the retreats that you would go on, whether they were silent the whole time or had a lot of talks and things like that, I think they were trying to accomplish something which is, well, I'll put it this way. During Advent, it's a time to make room in the inn for baby Jesus and for his coming. And what I've taken that to mean is everything that is kind of been disturbing you or really stressing you out in life lately, it's something that you need to put aside to focus on Christ, Christmas especially. We're supposed to do it all year round, but this time especially, whether it's through silence, through more prayer, or whatever, or addressing head on those things that have been bothering us or stressing us or keeping us from having true inner peace in preparation for the Christmas child, Jesus. It's time to address those things and put them to sleep as we wait for Jesus to come and be asleep in his little manger. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the main thing. Make room in the inn, in your mind, in your heart, so he can come in this Christmas season.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's and that waiting, and I think a lot of times throughout our life, waiting is sometimes the hardest virtue. That, in the sense of knowing that how do we, you know, prepare in the way that we do different retreats or having anything that's going on. I really, it's kind of funny, you know, as a father of three, and to see the waiting of children now compared to what we were as kids, and you know, the upbringing of, you know, hopefully focusing on faith, and sometimes, you know, drifting away as a kid, as a teenager. Sometimes you drift away from the faith, but it's really amazing to see. For example, my kids are doing a play, a Christmas play, for the parish, and for about 4 years, just seeing the progression of them doing that, and the excitement of the waiting of actually doing it. And I know it's not anything in depth, or I mean, they're just having, you know, in a sense, they're like being up there and having fun. And it's kind of one of those things that I see, like my son, he just turned 3, and he's going to be an animal, so he knows the speaking part. But to have him do something, and he wanted to either be a lamb or a cow, so he said, okay, I'm going to be a cow. And so, but the angels, I mean, and the songs, and so excitement. And but they're prepping and they're preparing throughout these weekends of getting ready to do a play about you know, the baby Jesus. And I think anything to you know, motivate children to get something about their faith, I think it's really awesome. Like I think that's one of those things that I'll really, you know, I'm happy my wife put me, you know, them through that, and I just enjoy it every time. And the funny thing is, you know, go ahead. I'll
That you have to put on a play, or you know, something else very exciting in your life. Maybe you're getting ready for someone else's birthday or whatever. That anticipation is something that I wish to have, and I hope that all Christians can have all the time, as often as possible through their whole life. I think it's one of the big motivators of Christianity is the anticipation for heaven. But then we also have these little anticipations along the way in our lives that repeat year round, which is, you know, Christmas and Easter, the big two, and so many others, and so many feast days too. That anticipation keeps us very hopeful and keeps that trust in God up high in our hearts. So just like getting ready for a play, we get ready for these great events of the Catholic Church and these great holidays, I'd call them,
yeah.
and getting ready for heaven 24/7 all the time, totally year round, as opposed to just preparing for those individual holidays. But yeah, when you talk about that play and stuff, I definitely could see how they're so excited for it. They're kind of building up excitement for it as it comes around, and that's something that we should do more often with a lot of the little things in our lives, just to keep that joy and hope of Christ alive all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, and also happy feast day of Saint Nicholas, and you know, going through, I have a image of him just to pop up for a second, but it just, you know, back in the, you know, with the, you know, just reading up a little. I mean, it's an amazing story, and you know, there's a lot of saints throughout this, you know, coming up through the feast days, and you know, I think there's a lot of focus that we can do throughout this Advent season. There's a lot of And what do you tell people? I mean, I know there's a lot of people chatting, saying hi, a lot of Merry Christmas, but I'll bring that up and I'll scroll down. But everybody's saying, what do you,
Oh yeah, and Panda Fam is here. Brian, Jared.
so,
Oh, awesome.
so you got, yeah, I'm a little nervous. You got a lot more people than I, but
All they were nice. They don't bite their.
we it's just I, I don't know. It's one of those things that throughout this preparation and waiting and um, it's really amazing to have um, this faith throughout our life to kind of juggle a lot of things in our everyday culture and all that, and but then to have this as a hopefully a focal point. I mean, do you feel as as it rushing, you get into the kind of the culture of, okay, right after Halloween and it's Thanksgiving items, and then right after Thanksgiving it's Christmas, and you don't even, okay.
Funny.
Okay.
I'm all about like decorations and stuff like that. So I'm rushing to, Walmart and Home Depot to get all the cute little things, get the poinsettia plants, get the little Christmas tree, get the Christmas lights. I'm so there, and I do get wrapped up in that and the enjoyment and the fun of that, and just I love decorating, so that's so my thing.
Yeah.
It sure does wrap me up in it. And even before this live stream, I was over and out shopping for little Christmas things, and yeah, I've totally gotten wrapped up in it before.
Yeah, it just seems like we get wrapped up, but that's the nice thing about these when we were doing the retreats when I just as a young adult and preparation of Advent, and to I've done like one silent retreat, and that's really sometimes it's very tough. Like I mean, as gadgets and devices, and I remember doing retreats where, okay, you got to give up the phone and the phone's gone and all that, but in this time of year sometimes that's the best way to really focus on what is the meaning of this time. It's not as much as I love seeing the kids get gifts and they get excited. There's a bigger, meaning behind all of this. But is there something that you can say about just? I mean, I know you already focused on that, but is there anything else that?
Yeah, it's like we want to go and like decorate everything with Christmas decorations and bring in, friends and family and awesome like Christmas foods and things like that. When really it's more of a time to actually clean house,
Hmm.
preparation for Jesus.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's one thing that I just feel like you have to clean house. Like you have to really just
Yes.
I mean, you're starting a new year. It's one of those, um, but it's
Yeah.
yeah.
There's I don't know. It's like I want to talk to my audience and say that once again, faith is so personal and so particular to your life that you have to really look in yourself to your life and see maybe what things have been bothering you lately on a great scale, causing you to have just an upset within yourself, making you grumpy, making you a little bit on edge, and maybe quick to criticize, quick to complain, whatever those things are. If there's anything you can do to make that or to lessen that in your life, usually there are particular things, and even there's even sneaky things maybe like when you just lately maybe you're feeling really really down and maybe just um, you don't know why you're so grumpy and things like that. There are proactive things to do when you don't know what's causing it. Of course, there are people with medical who have been diagnosed with medical conditions and they suffer with those things. But those of us who maybe are just a little down lately and they don't know why, and it's the Christmas season, I shouldn't be down.
Mhm.
Uh, there are things you could do, like go and surround yourself with people who do make you feel better, make you feel happy, and you can go for walks. You can go outside a bit more often. Maybe go to the store and buy a bit more, healthier foods, and maybe make a cool dinner for yourself. Or if you're just feeling down about what you've accomplished lately, teach yourself something new. Show yourself that even though you don't have it all together now, you don't have all the talents you had wanted to have, you don't have time to take a bunch of classes to learn those things, start with like one thing to improve yourself this Christmas season so that you can have a little boost for yourself as you get ready to welcome Jesus on Christmas Day. Just make it a happier, more joyful time all around. It's a good time to implement those little life changes and life improvements, and it's not ever a bad thing to pay attention to yourself. I know Christmas time is a time of giving, so you go out and you give to this person and this person, this person, and tire yourself out doing things for other people. Be sure to not neglect yourself so that you can be fully present and fully happy when it's time to celebrate the Christmas day. So.
No, thank you for that. And I just Sharon, everybody, thank you for watching. But you got there they are on your side. They're actually next to you. That's beautiful. And I think sometimes, that is, I've known some people that are, lonely at this time, and they're so much, pressure, and it is sometimes you gotta just take a step back, and I can totally get where some people are, feeling in that sense, and thank you for that.
Holidays are like is evident, they're a very, big part of our faith, if not the reason for our faith when you're talking Easter. And when you're talking about loneliness, we do want to extend a hand to maybe the elderly that are alone around the holiday season for sure. And maybe you yourself are feeling very alone. And it's important then, if you can't find, friends or good people to be around, to do the best with what you have available to you. And something you have available to you is, of course, the people in heaven. And I know it sounds a little redundant to say, but something cool you can do if you feel like, gee, you're all alone, and maybe you are the only Catholic in your area or whatever. This is a little unique of a thing to do, but try going to the cemetery around holidays and praying there for the people there in a joyous kind of way, and your prayers may help them get out of purgatory, or just may get you more intercessors up there in heaven, So if you want to go and extend a hand to the people who are in purgatory by going to the cemeteries and spending time there, because cemeteries are very quiet, they're very peaceful places, and they'll make you think a lot, and they'll make you see just how big of a picture the faith really is when you see how many people are buried in a cemetery. And I like to usually describe it as looking like an airport parking lot. Everybody has their cars parked here. They're all somewhere, definitely, because their cars are somewhere. We don't know exactly what they're up to at that moment in the Bahamas or in Jamaica or in Florida, wherever they've traveled, but we know they're there. And of course, we hope they come back and get their car, and then they go on. We know that when you die, it's not just nothing. And the Catholic faith has such a respect for the body after death because of its role in the resurrection of the body. So going and visiting the cemetery can really be actually a highlight of a holiday, as in not just something that's sad and solemn all the time. You're actually going and extending a hand to the other part of the church that you can't see or you can't greet in person on the holiday season. So I think that's something you need to do.
No, I like that. There's a couple questions. I noticed that everybody wants the rosary, so I apologize. I do apologize. We're kind of doing it. I didn't mean. I was like, I don't want to get in. You got a good thing going, Renee. I don't want to, but I really appreciate you coming. Renee will do the rosary. But there was a question about your favorite Christmas song. And,
Oh wow, they asked that like the past three live streams. I think I even might know who asked it, but I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I
oh,
don't. Oh, I actually answered it one live stream a while ago. It I think I just said it was "Angels We Have Heard on High." It's one of my favorites to sing because I went to a school that made us all join the choir, and that was one of the funner harmonies to hear out loud. I enjoyed that one a lot. But of course, there are so many like Latin Christmas songs that are beautiful, and so many secular Christmas songs that just put me in an absolutely great mood. So
yeah. I mean, there's so many. It's it. I, I One thing I always think about, and and I love that whole going to the cemetery, and because it's I think sometimes you know there there's a lot of things that you could do through this time. I don't know. I should it's like you get so caught up in everything else, but sometimes the faith kind of is. And I'm really glad that that my wife is very avowed Catholic, and we question and we ask questions to each other, and there's a lot, but she loves this time of year. I mean, she loves this time of year. She's always playing music. I mean, there's always something. There she loves this time of year, and she's devoted to the faith and to her children and to me, but to just see people that are loving this time and knowing what's going on and not getting all caught up. Yeah, we have to get some gifts and all that, but she knows what's going on. She knows that there is
so
so much more to this, and but we do question, and there's questions throughout our lives that you know why is this happening, and there's always a reason. We know that, but sometimes we have to question. I think that's one thing that's it's not a bad thing to question, but then to also understand that there's a reason for everything. I mean, that's the great part of Catholicism. There's always you can always find an answer.
absolutely,
You just have to look, I guess.
you have to look, and usually a lot of bad things happen in the world, and a lot of them seem just unrequited in terms of them having a happy ending ever. So there's one important thing to do is that when something bad happens, you must pray to God to ask Him to bring good out of it. You have to ask, just like from the Bible, ask and you shall receive.
See,
So directly ask for good to come of that bad thing before you immediately say, oh, God is not on my side. God isn't paying attention to me because this bad thing happened. No, go right to prayer and ask for the ultimate good to come of that bad thing. Because I've witnessed with people's people passing away and people praying for good to come of that. And then I saw a ton of good come from quite a few people who had passed away that I witnessed. And that was incredibly amazing. Um, and yeah, that, I mean, obviously, like, death is like the biggest bad thing you can think of. And then there's like long term people who are stuck in bad situations and stuff. They should pray for the ultimate good to come of it too. And I also believe that suffering endured with patience and with love perfects the soul to a degree that we cannot see on this earth, and it's something that'll shine forth from the soul in heaven. So even if someone isn't rewarded in this life, as Mary said to Saint Bernadette at Lourdes, I do not promise you the happiness of this world, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad things happen, and then we've got to react in one of the following ways that I just described.
I guess the chat room is singing some Christmas songs is what we're
Oh,
getting. And I guess
I
the
think
the
something.
whole question of "Baby, It's Cold Outside" was banned. Uh,
People
I I
love it.
know, I know.
I'm so offended by "Baby It's Cold Outside." And I'm like, you just listened to Cardi B for half an hour. Is this really bothering you?
I know. It just, I don't know. There was a statement.
Yeah.
King Solomon. Yeah. But I appreciate everybody bearing with. I know this is different. I really
I love
appreciate.
changing it up.
I know it's a little different. I mean, I just I loved your. I do love what you do. Like you do, and there's a lot of people that do. You could see that list of people saying hi, and they're ready for the rosary. So I'll if you want to go on to your channel, and I will get. But I really appreciate taking some time tonight. I don't know if there's anything else that I don't want to cut anyone short, but
Shout out to the people you mentioned on Facebook Messenger once. I
yeah, that was John Paul and Gianna. They love what you do. They love what you do, and they probably are watching on Facebook. We're simulcasting all over the place tonight. Um, but go ahead.
No, I'm so excited that they're actually watching. I can't believe it. It's so cute that they like the New Catholic Generation videos and then tune into this once in a while. And I'm on the Fiat network, so if they're
Yeah,
watching now, that's so cool and awesome. And thank you for your support. It means so much. And just to hear back from people who are even younger than myself is super encouraging.
yeah,
Makes me want to keep doing what I do. And I started doing this when I was 16 years old. I would have done younger than that, but I'm so glad that I didn't because the internet is kind of a weird place. So I'm glad I was able
yeah,
to use it a bit more at 16 than earlier. But this is to see and hear Catholic youth is so important and encourages young and old. And then to get feedback from young and old, and in this case, Gianna and John Paul, is so awesome. It's so great. It just resonates with me that I'm doing a good thing, that it should keep doing such a thing. And it contributes to me coming back to YouTube day after day and year after year. So thank you, you guys. Thanks so much for watching and being such a great support to me and to all of New Catholic Generation.
yeah. That means a lot to them. So I know they're really excited to hear that. But I just really do appreciate your time tonight. Um, I will let you get back onto your channel where that. But I really appreciate everybody that's watching. And I'm a little overwhelmed, but it is like you're saying. You're talking to like I think you were saying that on a live stream a couple of days ago, or you're talking to a couple hundred people as almost like friends, and you're just feeling and and
Overwhelming.
it
It's a lot.
yeah, but it's kind of like in the sense you're just looking at a camera and you
Yeah, I'm like
but it
in the room, but yet I'm so not. Like
yeah,
it's so
but
weird.
I yeah
To
I,
pray a rosary in front of that many people? Can you imagine then getting like 50 intentions of situations that are way worse, way harder than your life, or they're going through really difficult stuff, and you're just overwhelmed by that. And there's a great sadness that comes in for those, those 30 intentions that are very heavy. And you're like, oh my goodness. And you're just hearing it from the screen, from a little message typed from somebody somewhere out there. And I lots of the times will have no other interaction with that person after that intention is given to me. It's just like one little audio clip from somewhere and somebody that could use those prayers and could use that help and who's having a hard time. And that's all I can go on. And usually I never hear back with
mm,
any of the results of my prayers, of our prayers, I should say, because there's usually like 80 people praying too, which is crazy.
yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and you never hear back with those results, and so there is a bit of a heaviness there where I'm like, Lord, I'll never know if this works, but this situation is so sad for them and for their family, and I want them to experience, um, of course, the happiness of the next life, but also some relief in the now, and to experience the goodness of God in times of great suffering. And so when you pray for those kinds of intentions where you never know the result, it's like you want to do a little bit more because you're just like, I'll never know. And I just hope you hear their prayers and um, times that by like 30 or 50 different intentions. And it's very moving, very overwhelming, and very humbling to be a mediator between that person's situation and Jesus Christ, who is the biggest help of all. So, yeah.
Well, I think it was really nice on the previous interview we just did on the Fiat Ministry Network. There was someone, and I think he or she is in the I can't remember, but I think I saw the icon of him or her in the chat just now, and just saying how a blessing you are to many people, and just how it's kind of it probably means a lot to hear. I'll share that. I'll send that over to you, but after we talk. But you get, you're very powerful of how you even I still remember the interview, just very powerful how you speak. And you know I'm scatterbrained and all that, but you're just focused, and so I really think that's a gift that you have, just talking to someone, and you can be on for an hour, whatever, and people until your laptop will die out of the battery. I remember that's how I was like, I gotta get her back on. I'm like, that's amazing. You just kept on going until the battery of your laptop about to die, and it shows who you are. So I really appreciate, and I really appreciate your chat room for bearing with no rosaries. So if we that's a special thing for you guys. So
Yeah, of course, and it's cool that you would uh, come by my live streams too, as you do. So we're happy that you join us too, not on the screen all the time, but just in the background too with the viewers is awesome.
yeah, you do a great job. So
Let Catholics know how important their job is in the church. It's very generous of you to point out my little vocation here on YouTube and the importance it has. And I want to extend that out to everybody and the importance that they have in the church with their gifts and talents, because we do give up, what the world would say is a lot for a life with Christ on earth. We give up the immediate comforts, and we give up living as we want and acting as we want and treating others as we would want. And that's I'd say it's an admirable thing to do, but it's only right since Jesus, it is right and just because Jesus gave up his life for us in that way. So selfless. It's the most selfless act in history, I believe, because he is the most innocent man to have ever experienced such a punishment like that. And because of that, in that turning from this life, we should talk to all Catholics and tell them what we love and appreciate about them, and that they inspire us by what they're doing and by their persistence and patience with the pursuit of the faith. So yeah, it's just everything. It's just something we need to remind each other all the time, because
yeah,
this world is really, really, really trying to pull us all in. It sure is. There's a fight for each one of our souls. So
yeah,
tell people the good things about them always.
yeah.
So
No, I thank you for that, and I really appreciate, Renee, for you coming back on, and again, thank you everybody in the chat room on. I mean, there might be like one person on Fiat, but I do say hi to them too. But everyone it's just a beautiful community that you have, and I just wanted to share that, and thank you, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
excited. I really can't wait for Christmas. My favorite color is red. Santa Claus is global. St. Nicholas feast
Yeah.
is today, and I love it all so much. Um, so I hope everybody has a great Christmas too, and you, Kent, and John Paul and Gianna, all of you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to end in prayer? I always ask. I do. Yeah, we do pray on the Fiat Ministry Network. We do pray, and I know you do the rosary, and I think everybody that sees that rosary that you do it's beautiful. So I know it's a very and I know that's a very special thing, and the chat was definitely they did, they were a little, yeah, they're just trying to figure out what was going on. No rosary at the beginning. What's going on?
I want my money back. I'm like, you never paid me anything. Sit down.
Well, we would be honored if you would like to end in prayer and any
Oh
final.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. In the name of the Father and of the Son
Son,
and of the
Holy Spirit, Amen.
Come, Lord Jesus, this Christmas season. We anticipate your coming as the Christ child in the manger with Mary and Joseph by your side among all the animals. And Lord, sometimes we can be a little bit like animals and we wait for the holy manger, which contains the Eucharist, to change us and make us fully an imitation of your Son. We just can't wait to welcome this Christmas season. And I just want to say a Hail Mary, as we know she is just as excited as all of us and is right there with us at all times because she is our mother. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and
Father,
of the
Son,
Son, and of the
Holy
Holy Spirit.
Spirit,
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Kent. This was so fun.
No, thank you. Yeah, and if did you want to let everybody know that you're gonna do the rosary later, or I don't know?
Should be right back on.
You're gonna
Um,
pop right back on. We'll be watching. So thank you very much.
grab some popcorn, finish eating it before the rosary, and start the rosary.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be watching. So
Yeah.
everybody, thank you. We do the Fiat Ministry Network show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Please like us on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. We do support just any kind of prayers and any support that you can give us as a ministry. But again, Renee, thank you for what you do. It's just it's very emotional sometimes to see someone that gifted and just have that heart that you have, and I think a lot of people see that in you, and so thank you again for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Kent.
All right.
God bless everybody, and see you later.
God bless. All right, have a good evening, and we'll see you next week on the Fiat Ministry Show.